Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil,
And I'm Baz.
and we're recording Friday, September 12th, 2025. A little bit later than we like to, Dad. We like to have the episodes out by Friday before the game, but sometimes life happens. But here we are recording about 8 days since our last episode, so it's been a bit, but we took a break along with the Eagles' little break there.
Right. At least we have a full injury report to report. So that's good.
That's true. That's always the benefit of recording on Fridays. You got the full injury report, so that kind of makes it better because on Thursdays it's always conjecture, and you're always,
Yes.
thinking, oh, I don't know, like all that sort of stuff. So it
Agreed.
is nice to have that full injury report, which we'll get into. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. As always, want to give a shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs, meeting at Rhino's Sports and Spirits on Powers and Barnes on Sunday. We will not be able to go. Gotta take care of the baby. Wife's going to be at work, so going to miss out on it this week, but we hope you all have a lot of fun there and hope to see you there in the future.
Yeah, we'll just need a
Let's,
count from somebody's so we know who's
yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah, we'll have David. He'll do it.
Yeah.
Let's get into the injuries, Dad. So let's get into the good news first. Number one, Landon Dickerson, full go. So he is in. He's ready to play. Big boost, big thing that we needed, especially as a full participant the last 2 days. Really, really need that when we kind of had a banged up offensive line. We really had to get that guy back.
Yeah. And the thing is, they hadn't played each other in preseason. So that was really their first run. Hopefully they're going to be cohesive and get it going. Thankfully, he's back for 2 days. So
That's right. Next one's going to be Jalix Hunt, full participant the last few days as well. Got to have that guy because, not really sure how this defensive rotation is going to work out. Obviously, Zadarius Smith signed by the Eagles a couple days ago. We didn't get to talk about, which is going to be a big deal for this game. We'll see how much he plays. But you're obviously going to see the Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and Josh Uche rotation, and then maybe some Zadarius Smith sprinkled in.
and that was some surprising news was how well Uche actually played in the game
Yeah,
per PFF and all the other powers that be. I saw him out there a few times, but you're so wrapped up in the game, you don't really get to, you
yeah.
know, break it down. But yeah, it's good to get the Zadarius Smith. I think it's going to be a big piece. And of course, losing Carter at the last second, that didn't help either.
No, definitely not. I mean, we talked about that and beat that to death in the last podcast in the post game podcast. But yeah, I expect a little bit of a better defensive outcome or defensive output this week. Geez, this week because of Jalen Carter not being taken out of the game right before the
Right.
game. Other injury news: Tanner McKee is listed as questionable. We'll see if they've got him or the other. Oh my God, can't think of the other guy.
How?
Sam Sam Powell. Thank you. Jeez. We'll see.
Howell.
We'll see who they have who they have backing up Hurts on Sunday. Wonder what the options are there, and see how Tanner McKee's doing at that point.
Right. Let's hopefully we don't even see him. So that's
I mean, that's the biggest thing you got to hope for. We don't have to worry
yeah.
about these guys.
Yep.
The next two ones, the big news, obviously, Sean Shipley is going to be out. Obviously, these past few days, we also traded for Tank Bigsby from the Jacksonville Jaguars. That became a big moment of, is Shipley's injury worse than we all expected? We obviously saw him get ruled out during the game on on Thursday night against Dallas Week 1. I
Right.
told you after the rain delay, after the weather delay, it's like, hey, Shipley, he's out. And you kind of expected, okay, well, maybe just for the game and we'll bring him back next week. But no, rib injury seems to be lot more
Serious.
bigger. It's a lot more
Yeah.
serious. Thank you, gosh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Tank Bigsby trade looks like it's to replace that position maybe for a little
Yeah.
bit of time.
For kickoffs for one, and then also it's a second or third string type running back. Obviously the playbook and things like that. He's only been around for a few days, but it might be just a straightforward carry. But it's good we have somebody. It's funny because you and I both went, "What are we getting this guy for? We need this or we need that," and that was the big thing on the sites where why are we getting a running back? Now we know. I think we
Yeah.
knew at the time that it had to be more serious. But
Yes.
again, we just a fifth and a sixth round pick, so we have so many picks. It didn't really dent it there.
Yeah. And good by you pointing out it definitely is it's a definite replacement for that kick return. But also, I wonder if why has Shipley not been placed on injured reserve? I wonder if they think they know he can come back in the next few weeks. They're not really expecting him to be out for a long time, or else I think they put him
Yeah.
on IR.
Because
Um,
IR is a 4 week minimum. right?
Correct. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think with the Tank Bigsby trade, it also is not just the kick return abilities, but also making them kind of think, hey, we also lost our fullback, Van Sumeren, for the entire season. So you would really kind of expect maybe, they want to have four running backs on the roster and give them
Right.
more opportunities to have two guys on the field, one guy out wide, stuff like that. It opens up the package door for them a little bit.
And with a name like Tank, I think we can see what he's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy Ben is really upset. Obviously, he's a Jaguars fan. He was very, very upset. He texted me before I even knew about it. He was texting the group chat and he's just like, you got to be kidding me. He was so upset. He was a big Tank Bigsby fan. So he made me feel pretty good about it, I'll say.
Yeah, he had a good year, 4.6 yards a carry last year. So
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet for a team that really was kind of on the edge there, Jacksonville. So
Yep. And then the biggest news really of the week, Dallas Goedert going to be out. I mean, Dad, this one, it's not surprising, but it's really frustrating. I mean,
it
it's
is. It
it's
is.
really really frustrating. And I know this isn't the episode where we talk about the Dallas Goddard future with our team or
Right.
the injured Dallas Goddard and everything like that, but it's this is really annoying, dude. It's
It
really
is.
frustrating.
So it's funny because I was talking to my sister Margie on the phone earlier today, and she said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, early on in the Dallas game, he did take a shot in the knee. It was a very
Yeah,
awkward tackle. I don't know if a second or
yeah,
third catch, but then he played the rest of the game. So I thought, oh, we're past that. But apparently, I don't know if it was that did it, but it was definitely the knee. So, but yeah, it does draw some eyebrows to go. Maybe
yeah.
we need to draft a tight end
I
to
think
get this
so.
thing going. But what can we do now? Like
I
here we
know.
are.
Yeah,
Calcaterra,
Granson. Yep. You got to play with what
Granson.
you got to get. You have to go through what you have to do. Every team gets hurt.
Yeah.
But it is. I don't. I feel bad saying that it's annoying. I don't like it's. I don't want to sound like I, disregard this guy. But it is just really, man, like just
Well,
getting frustrated with this.
he's such a big piece to the team. Look at last week. He had 7 catches, seven receptions on 7 targets.
Yeah.
Without those, who knows what would have happened. We kind of had a slow
Yeah.
start. We weren't really moving it in the air that well. So he was our savior once again. So I mean, as much as we're going to miss him, we need him.
I know. I agree. All right. Well, let's get into the game itself. Or actually, sorry, before I do that, let's talk about the injuries on the other side of the ball. Not too many injuries to talk about. I mean, two noteworthy ones. Laced it out for the games, Jalen Royals, one of their wide receivers. And then the big one, Xavier Worthy. He didn't participate Wednesday, and then he was limited both Thursday and Friday. So listed as doubtful for the game. Most of the talking heads and media reporters are very certain that he's not going to be playing at all.
Yeah.
That they're considering him out, not doubtful.
Right.
This is a big deal. I mean, we're going into this game. Rasheed Rice suspended for 6 games, I believe, and then
Yes.
Xavier Worthy out for this one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge deal for that wide receiver group.
Well, if you saw the shot that Worthy took early in the game last week,
Brutal.
it separate and it is a separated shoulder. I think this is just gamesmanship, as we say. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Oh, here we go. I think that's what they're doing to kind of keep the Eagles on their toes. But the fact that I don't think he's going to play, and if he does, he can't take any shots. I mean, there's just
I know.
no way. He could wear a sling or whatever, but he can't take any shots.
It's true.
You're looking at a fumble for easy. So
I know. That's true.
I think you're right.
Um,
He's not going to play. So
yeah.
really, it changes the game, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into it now then. So Eagles going to be playing the Chiefs in Kansas City Sunday, 2:25 p.m., 4:25 for the Friends back east. That last time we played the Chiefs, do you remember what the score was?
Yes, 40-22. That was
Oh,
in the
okay.
Super
Yes.
Bowl. In the Super Bowl.
Yes.
In the
Yes.
Super Bowl. But
That
yes,
is correct.
that is correct. But yes, the last time we played him was a pretty close game, the regular season game.
Regular season game. Yes.
Yes. It was pretty
Yeah.
close. I
Pretty
know
close
that.
game. It was in Kansas City. It was kind of a sloppy game, if you remember.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
a couple turnovers on both sides, a little back and forth, fumbles, all that sort of stuff. I remember it being a really rainy game. That was when we were in that string
It
of
was.
games in 2023 where it was raining all the time. But we ended up leaving. We ended up leaving Kansas City. Arrowhead ended up leaving Arrowhead with a 21-17 victory, and it was the first Eagles victory against Andy Reid.
Wow, that's something. Because I do
Yeah,
have their all-time record against Kansas City. It's 5-5. So we're even
yeah,
there. And of course, we know in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, we're 1-1. So
Yeah.
6-6 all time against Kansas City. One and I don't know what we've how many we've lost to Andy Reid. Two, maybe three, because
I'm
we lost
thinking
to him a
three.
few times.
We lost to him in
Might
17.
be two. We don't play them that often.
We lost them in 17. We lost them in
Okay. Yeah,
21.
17, I
And
remember.
then yeah, and then we beat them
Right.
in and then we lost them in
We beat him.
22. So we were 0-3 at one point. Now we're 2-3. So we built up a
Right.
little bit of a comeback going there.
Yeah. Good. That's a good
And
time.
then, of course, the other record to look at, the important one, Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes, 2-2, 1-1 in the regular season, and 1-1 in the Super Bowl, of course.
Right. Which,
Yep.
as we all can talk about that game forever. But yeah, it was
Yep.
interesting. I looked it up. We played him for the first time in 1972. Then we played him for the second time in 1992. So 20
Wow.
years before we played him for the first and the second time. So that's
Wow.
pretty interesting. We did play him about three times in the 2000s. But yeah, so it's just they've changed the format, obviously. Back in those days, you didn't play AFC that often, so
Oh yeah. I mean
very
the
different.
the crazy thing about this one is, in the beginning of what many people kind of think could be a rivalry, hopefully we it doesn't become a rivalry because we're just beating them all the time. Um, but it's funny, we played them every year that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have been together. 2021 was a regular season,
Yeah,
22 the Super Bowl, 23 regular season, 24 the Super Bowl, and then now regular season. So I guess you could expect the Super Bowl next
right.
year. So who are we going to beat in the Super Bowl this year? I don't know. It's all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting. And it's funny. It's fun when you play teams like this where you don't play them that often because the rivalry is really not there. But after the Super Bowl, this
yeah,
game is a pretty top of the line game this weekend.
yeah. Speaking of which, I know we're on limited time, but I just had to throw out any thoughts on why this is not the prime time game?
Yeah, well, it is the later game, so it's the 2:20
Yeah,
game, right? But or
but
2:30,
it's
whatever you
not
want to
the
call it. But
Sunday night game.
right, right.
It
I
just
know
it's
it's
and I know the reasoning. We kind of talked about it with some of my friends a couple days ago. I know the reason is because last week, we started off the season on Thursday night. They started off on Friday night, so they
right,
both just played prime time, so they don't want to throw them in prime time again. They want to
right.
have the variety of the mix of markets and everything. But it just feels
Yes.
like a really big fumble to not have this as
Yeah.
the Sunday night game.
Well, really, if you think about it, it's too early in the season, too. It should have been week 10 or week 11.
I
Then
know.
you could have had it on Sunday night or Monday night or Thursday
Yeah,
night and
very true.
really blown it up. But I think if this is the way it shakes down. What can you say? So they're 0-1. We're 1-0. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's get into a weather report. You got one for me?
Yes, I do. It's going to be really hot and it's going to be humid. It's going to be about 90, 91 degrees at kickoff and like 80, 88 at night. So, I mean, it's really not much of a thing. The only thing you can hope for is a little bit of a windy rain situation, but we don't like the rain to ruin the game. So, but
Yeah.
it's going to be hot and humid. So, if you're going to the game, if you're making that drive over there to Kansas City or flying out, make sure you drink some water and some lemonade and some stuff like that.
Yeah, some pickle juice would
Hydrate.
be nice. Some
There
pickle
you go.
juice would be good. Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
so you mentioned the all-time record was 6-6, 5-5 regular season, then 1-1 in Super Bowls,
Correct.
which is just crazy to make it seem like that's the last 3 years. Last 25 years, we lead 4-5, played them 9 times the last 25 years. So that just shows you. I mean, we're about to play them 5 times in 5 years,
Right.
and that's pretty insane to think about. I
Yeah.
mean,
And then you only played them 5 other times in 40 years
I know
because
that's
they've
crazy.
been around since 1960. I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
that's when
almost
Kansas
50.
City Chiefs.
Unreal.
So yeah,
Let's
65 years.
let's get into some matchups of the game, Dad. So, bringing up some of their statistics from week one. Obviously, this is a tough time of the year to talk about like team stats because it's too early. Nothing's set in stone. It's one game, but we got to do what we got to do and talk about what we have. Kansas City defense, as of right now, they're 30th against the pass. As far as defense goes, obviously they played the Chargers last week and lost that game in Brazil, I believe 27-21. So, but yeah, no, I struggled against the pass, struggled against Herbert, who had a great game. So you like the odds there for AJ Smitty and Dotson versus no defensive teams.
Well, as we know, AJ only had one target last week, and last year, if you followed them, when he didn't have many catches, the next week they just force fed him. So
Yeah,
hopefully, it's not too, that they're not able to do it, where the other guys are going to double team him.
I
But I
know.
mean, they tried it last week. They played a lot of zone. We'll see how they do. But I have a feeling that they're going to throw it to AJ early, probably often. And but it was great to see Jahan Dotson come up big time in the
Yeah,
game last week. And if you looked at the that pass, man, that thing was a beautiful
it
spiral
was.
down the field. So maybe we can get one or two of them down the sidelines like you did in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And it's funny. Usually when I do my matchups, if I bring up the wide receivers, I always just say AJ and Smitty versus the defensive back. I felt like Dotson has, at least so far, I think he's earned the right to be in that matchup. I think he's earned the right to be talked about with the other guys. Obviously, not on the same level of talent or production, but I do think he's earned the right on our team to be, included in our matchup predictions and
Yeah, well,
talks.
he had the biggest pass play of the year last week. So
Yeah,
so far.
that's right. Next one, Kansas City defense, 13th against the run, so they had a pretty good. They did a pretty good job of shutting down the running back last week. Averaged 3.6 yards per carry. They did let up the big, dagger run from Justin Herbert to end the game. But I
Right.
think this is an important game for us to get Saquon going. I know last week we, did pretty well in the first half and then struggled after the weather delay and all that sort of stuff. But
Yes.
I think this is if we're talking about Saquon getting 2,000 again, or not even that, just talking about having a productive and great season, this
Right.
is a game where I think, man, we got to get this on track soon.
Yeah, he had 61 yards in the first half and 0 yards in the second on the ground. I think his last six carries were six for 0 yards.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, we were just running it up the gut. We were just trying to see what we could do, kind of running out the clock there too as well. So, but
yeah,
yeah, definitely. And then we know what they did in the Super Bowl too. They stacked the box and we just threw the ball all over the place. So that's we'll see what happens. One or two of the evils we can break through hopefully. But you're right. I'd like to see him. Hit him pretty good because like I say, in the Super Bowl, he did not get many yards per carry or, many yards overall.
yeah.
Jalen did, however, so we'll see.
Yeah. And then a player that I want to bring up for the offense to keep an eye on, of course, is going to be the obvious future Hall of Famer Chris Jones, defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Sometimes lines up outside as a defensive end. This is a great player, and I think the big news to talk about is the new starter Tyler Steen and the injured left guard Landon Dickerson versus Chris Jones. Obviously, with Cam Jurgens in there as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, they handled him fairly well in the Super Bowl. He did, get in there and make his plays. And last week I watched him and he was pretty magnificent last week. He's such a big guy and he was pushing people all over the place. But, luckily the quarterback for the Chargers just stepped out of the right pocket and made the right throws. And he was very, very accurate. So that kind of hurt them a lot last week. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch him.
for sure. I'm trying to pull up real quick to see Chris Jones versus the Eagles all time. Now it's only bringing up the regular season. Looks like he has 5 sacks in 3 games of the regular season against us, dude.
Okay. And that's
Yeah,
3 games in three
yeah.
games.
In the 3 games of the regular season, he got 5 sacks.
Okay.
Now Super Bowls, I'm pretty sure it's zero. I think the first Super Bowl they only had 1 sack on us. It was a guy I didn't know, and then
Right.
this, last year I think it was just Karlaftis with a sack. But
Okay.
yeah, so we'll see. That's a big deal. 5 sacks in 3 regular season games, pretty insane.
Yeah.
So he
Well,
has
but
some success
if you go
against
back to
us.
21 though, we were not the team that we're now. So I mean, if he had
Well,
two in that game, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but
so we'll
still,
go.
that's a
It's
pretty
it's
good record.
actually that's actually he didn't have any in 21. He had
Nice.
he had two. Yeah, he had 3 against us in 17. So that's a
Wow.
big one. Yeah, I'd have to watch the highlights on that. I just don't remember that very well. I don't know if that site's giving
Yeah.
me wrong information, but
Well, if
I
you
just don't.
remember, that's the game I could not watch. I did not see any of that game back
I
in
remember
17. I think it was week two, run it? Week two or week
it
three?
was it was
It
week
was
two.
early,
Yep.
just like this. And I think we were doing fairly well early on, and then they were just much better team at the time.
It was the first Eagles game for Jake Elliott. It was a first Jake Elliott game. He was not
Okay.
our starter week 1. We signed him for that game, and
Right.
all know what happened week 3. So that was nice.
Yes. There you go.
Yep. All right, let's get into some defensive matchups. So our defense against their offense. I literally just wrote this. It's Mahomes. So yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's the key matchup. What are you
Yes.
gonna do against this guy? He's a great player. We've had some success against him the last few times, thankfully.
Right.
2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, one a pick six, and I believe one interception in 2023. And it might have been two, but
Yes.
I think it was just one by Kevin Byard, of all people, if you
Yeah.
remember that.
Wow, that was a
So,
tough year, but
but
yeah, I'm looking at a little bit more of a defensive push this game because Card will be in, and I think they've got that first week out of the way. Davis looked phenomenal last week as well.
yeah,
Played 50 snaps, and he would have never been able to play 50 snaps last year. This year he looks so much better, and now you've got a little bit more confidence going into after what happened in the Super Bowl. I think that's going to help with Jalen Hunt, and we'll see if Uche can continue
yeah.
putting that
Next
pressure.
one, next one I have is Kelsey. Is Kelsey? Obviously, he's gotten older. He hasn't been as productive as he once was, but he's still a great player. Caught a touchdown last week.
Big touchdown too.
Yeah, I think he had 47 yards receiving.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still Kelsey. I mean, yeah, two
yeah,
catches for 47 yards and a touchdown.
yeah.
He's still Travis Kelsey. I almost said
Well,
Jason.
you just you just can't leave him wide open. Somebody has to cover him, and that's going to be. We'll see if Jihad Campbell and if Bond are going to be able to cover him out of the thing, and of course Coop in the slot if he's
Yeah,
doing his thing. You just got to watch him because that is their go-to guy, especially now that they don't have the other
yeah,
guys. I'm going to look for a lot of swing passes to backfield guys. I'm going to see a lot of short passes. I know that has kind of been the knock on Mahomes the last few years, is he does not go downfield. And, it's always a short 15, 20, 10-yard pass. So hopefully we can tighten up the D a little bit better. Maybe that one cornerback slot that hasn't been great is better this week. And we can use that
definitely.
speed. We'll use our speed. I'm not sure who's starting yet, so we'll see. But
Well, I'm pretty sure it's. I think Vic did list that it's going to be Adoree Jackson. He did say it was going to be him.
okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see. Hopefully
Yeah.
week one changes things and he
Yeah.
got a little
Bennett and
better.
Ringo get in there.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
The next one I have, it's funny that you mentioned as far as guys going downfield. Here's a guy that's known for going downfield, Hollywood Brown. So
Yes.
obviously in this game with Rasheed Rice and geez Louise, Xavier Worthy, sorry.
Worthy. Yeah.
Uh, with Rice and Worthy not playing in this game, Hollywood Brown is going to be their number one receiver out there, not including Kelsey. And Hollywood Brown, he's a speedster. At an
Yeah.
Oklahoma Pro Day back in the day, ran a 4.27. He's had some injuries. He's a little bit older. He's 28 years old now, so
Right.
he's probably not as fast as he once was, but still a former 1,000 yard receiver
Right.
that you gotta respect for he's a guy. He's a
Yeah.
player. He's a player.
Yeah, it's been an up and down career for him, but
Yeah,
you can't just dismiss that. When you become the guy and you have to be the guy, we'll see what happens. But that's what we're going to have to watch for. Hopefully, Q is following him a little bit, keeping his eye on him, and we'll see how Adoree Jackson or whoever else is playing out of the corner slot can get it going. But hopefully, we'll get a little more rush this week, and there's less time in the pocket. Dak had a little bit too much time. We were that close to getting him about 5 different times, so.
yeah,
Hopefully things break our way this week and he makes the step to the right into the wrong spot. So
yeah. And they mentioned the Kansas City offense, ninth in passing yards right now, 19th in rushing. That's why I didn't really mention any guys, any running backs. They do have a
right.
bit of a committee with Pacheco and Hunt, and I think Carson. So they have a little bit of a committee going on there. I think Pacheco had 51% of the snaps as I was seeing, so he's still the main guy.
Yeah,
But
he's good. He's good.
but he is good. But he's definitely hasn't been the same since he returned from that broken leg he had last year. So hopefully keep it that way.
Yeah.
Mahomes is their leading rusher so far. Last week he had 6 rushes for 57 yards. So
Wow.
he's
Wow.
a smart scrambler. He's one of those guys that you got to contain him. And if he's not gonna hurt you through the air, he will hurt you on the ground.
Yeah. The big thing about him is you got to get to him early, keep him down early, get a lead. They're really not a come from behind team like they used to be. I mean, and
Yeah,
that's, just maybe setting us up for something wrong, but that's just the way it appears to be that they just you get them down 14, something they just don't have that explosiveness that they used to have.
yep. Let's get into special teams real quick. They've got a great kicker, even though he's a POS.
I got you.
He did miss an extra point last week, but he was 3 for 3 on field goals, and he's
Yeah.
been one of the best kickers ever since he entered the league, despite him being a jerk.
Yeah, he's been, well, I mean, some of them, they're not all
Yeah.
angels, right? We
No,
got a few of those on our team as well. But
yeah,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but I cheer against him pretty hard as well. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can keep him on the other side of the 50 so he doesn't get a chance. The hot and humid air, because you probably shorten your field goals a little bit. You're not going to be able to kick it as far, I don't think, but we'll see what happens.
yep,
Again, they're prone to have those afternoon thunderstorms there. I don't know how the skies look. I know we're a little bit rain in our forecast this next couple of days. Maybe it's working its way east, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Last week I called for no rain, and then it rained like in the game last week we had that delay because of lightning. So
yeah,
I'd only had like a 50%, 60% chance of rain. So take it for what it's worth.
yeah. Dad, let's get into player to watch. You got one ready for me?
I do. Josh Uche is my guy this
Oh,
week.
okay.
Obviously, after the hype that he got last week, and I'm really banking on it. If he can be the guy that was number one overall rush last week and pressures and whatever else happens, he wasn't the guy that got any sacks, but he definitely was up there for PFFs, and that surprised me when I read that. So if he can continue that, that means our other two guys are doing their job, and it'll be a
Yeah,
big thing. So Josh Uche number zero,
zero. Yeah,
zero.
I love zero as a defensive end number. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's a
so
great
too.
number.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with the lineman as well. Oh, I should mention Josh Uche, of course, playing his former team as well.
right.
So hopefully that gives him a little bit of an extra boost
Yep.
from his good
Yeah.
performance last week as well.
Yeah, I agree.
My player to watch, I'm going lineman as well. I'm on the opposite side of the field. I'm going Landon Dickerson. I know this isn't the sexy pick. This isn't the super
Sure.
fun pick. Oh, he's choosing the guard. But I think I learned my lesson. I've picked AJ Brown so many times, and every time I pick him, it doesn't go so well. So I don't think I'll ever pick him again as my player to watch because I think it's just a bad. It's just I don't know. It's not working for him and me. But I'm taking Landon Dickerson. I'm going to watch him through that injury and hopefully see him take hold of Chris Jones and kind of command him throughout the game. Him and Cam Jurgens as well.
Well, all you can ask for is that you don't hear Chris Jones's name. That's all we can ask for.
True.
Hopefully, if we can run the ball, run at him or run away from him. He's really not one of those guys you run at, though. Some guys you run at and they can't handle it. He's not one of those guys. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal. So you got to run away from him, trap block him, trick him a little bit, do some of that, maybe an RPO here and there, make him make the wrong cut. And hopefully, I think we're going to see Jalen run the ball a little bit. Hopefully, he continues to slide and prevent, just like he did last week. He was phenomenal getting down and not getting hit. That's my thing about him. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Barkley can get it going a little bit,
Yeah.
as opposed to last in the Super Bowl when he really did not get it going.
Yeah. Dad, you got a score prediction for me?
You know what? I didn't pull one up, but I'm going to come up with one. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game this week. And I think it's going to be an Eagles victory again, because I always do that. I think it's going to be like a 27-23. I think they're going to do like a go for a 2-point conversion, one or point, not the Eagles, but the Chiefs. And it's not going to work out for them, maybe kind of early on in the game. So, but yeah, 27-23 is my prediction. Of course,
Wow.
last week we really didn't have many people pick the right prediction. We all were a little bit higher in the 30s. So um,
Well, we scored 24. If we had scored one more touchdown, which we would have after the fumble, we would
31,
have gotten
correct.
31.
Right.
So I stand by my thing, pending that I didn't know
Yes.
about a weather delay. But
Yes.
um,
Okay.
it's funny because again, back to back weeks, we're really close. I chose 27-20.
Oh,
So
wow.
I got a close game prediction here as well. Again, to the folks at home, we're not sharing these beforehand, so
No.
this is coming on the fly. Yeah, I
Yes.
think this is going to be a tight game. I think there's going to be a lot of stress in this game. I do think there could be a chance we have an early not lead an early they have an early lead against us and we kind of
Okay.
have to push back. I think in 2023 we had that run where we were 17-7 at the halftime. We were losing. I don't think it'll
Right.
be like that, but I could see maybe a 14-10 something there
Right.
uh, at halftime, or maybe in the second quarter somewhere around there before we take off and
Yeah.
win.
Well, considering last week with the late weather and not scoring, we scored early on, which we did not do much of last year at all. So that was
No,
very, very good to
assuring,
see. It was
reassuring.
exciting. We scored on the first four possessions, I believe. It
Yeah,
was just amazing. And then, of course, we scored in the second half where the Cowboys did not score any points in the second half. But that rain really messed it up. And the fact it was week one really messed it up. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
yeah, yeah. All right, let's talk about some other games before we do that, Dad. I just want to give everybody a reminder to like and subscribe and comment down below your score predictions, your predictions for the game, everything like that. Dad, we got about 10 minutes left, so let's get through this
Okay.
efficiently, but not we don't have to speed. We're good. Um,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Other games around the league, I chose five again. I think I'm just going to choose five every week to talk about. Number one going to be the Giants, the Cowboys. Don't have to spend much time on this. I watched the Cowboys with you last week, and my goodness, they are just really bad. And
Well,
Russell
Giants.
Wilson
Sorry,
is
Giants.
yeah, Giants.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. You said
Giants.
Cowboys. That's okay.
My bad. Yeah, Giants. They
Yeah,
are in the Russell Wilson is in the running for one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
right, right. And we were pulling for the Giants
Yeah,
last week. Obviously, we wanted the Commanders to lose only because of a division thing. I don't think they looked particularly well either, but you kept going. Every time the Giants had a sliver of hope, they just didn't do anything with the ball.
yeah,
It was really hard to watch. We'll see if their defense is a little bit better this week. Last week, wasn't their defense last week. It was their
yeah,
offense. It was pathetic. It was just
yeah. The
offense
defense.
was
I mean,
awful.
the defense ended up letting up 21 points, but I didn't feel like they played that bad.
No, they didn't.
I felt like they definitely, they're not great yet. They're still a young defense, and Abdul Carter's going to have to take some time to get better. But I thought 21 points, they actually didn't play that bad. I think it was just the defense was out there, you know, double the times the offense was. They were just getting
Right.
killed. I mean, the
I don't know
offense
if you
couldn't do
saw
anything.
Duran Blonde is not going to be playing either for the
Oh, Deron
Cowboys this
Bland.
week.
Deron Bland. Yeah, that's a
Bland,
big deal.
yeah,
That's a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Well, I
big deal for
know
them.
he wasn't supposed to really play against us, but I think he pushed himself to get in there and played well. I was surprised to see that he wasn't going to play this week.
Yeah.
I know he'd been coming off an injury or something.
Yeah. Got a prediction there? You think the Cowboys just win that one easily?
Yeah, it's going to be a low scoring, boring 18-12 type game. I don't even think the Giants will score 14 points. They're just really bad,
I agree.
really bad.
Next
Quarterback
one's
change coming, I think,
I
there
agree.
sooner than
Next
later.
next game's kind of boring, but I have to mention it just because we play them next week. Rams at the Titans. Always fun to see the first round pick play. I thought he didn't play. It's funny, his numbers look terrible, but I really thought he didn't play that terrible against the Broncos. Obviously, Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league, and the
Yeah.
Titans players dropped every freaking ball he threw to them. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Again, the numbers look terrible. I'm not going to say he played great, but I didn't think he played that bad. I think
Yeah.
the Rams take this one easily, but it'd be good to see what they have going before we play them next week.
So last week the Rams played Houston
Correct.
and they won 14-9, and that game was
Horrible.
bad. I thought the Rams were bad, and I think their defense was not as good as I thought they were going to be. But I could see the Rams taking it only because you're playing rookie quarterback, and
It's
but
Tennessee.
I thought he played well. They're just not, yeah, they're not good. But I was surprised the Rams were. I mean, they were. Houston was in that game late in the game. 14. Well, they were driving right when there an interception or a fumble late. There were two games that happened to.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
It was them.
but I would
Uh,
say Rams 24-5 or something.
five. Get a safety at least. No. Next one is a funny one. Bears at Lions. 0-1 versus 0-1. Kind of the opposite of what I saw for that division. I thought the Lions would win against the Packers. I thought the Bears would win against the Vikings,
Yeah.
and both ended up losing. So it could be an interesting game. This is the return of oh gosh, Ben. What's his name? The
Who-
offensive coordinator for the Lions, who's now the coach of the Bears.
Johnson, Ben Johnson.
No, is it Ben Johnson? Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah, it is.
I
Yeah, it
almost
is.
said Ben Campbell. That's because Dan Campbell is the coach.
Okay. So
Um,
the Bears were winning that game against Minnesota Monday night and were blowing them away, but they just didn't put them away. And then JJ McCarthy got hot late in the game and won. But I thought the Bears blew it. I thought they looked great early on. If you were watching, they were killing them. I mean, it
yeah,
just everything but the scoreboard, and then they just fell apart. So I don't know what you got, but the Lions, they've got to be desperate to win this game. They have to
definitely.
be.
They have to be. Next one, I have Broncos at Colts, obviously living in the Denver area. My company is a sponsor for the Broncos, which is always kind of awkward for me. But Broncos playing the Colts, this will be an interesting one. I mean, the Colts, it doesn't feel like they are who they are, but
Yeah,
I think they scored the most points in the NFL week one.
30 something.
I don't have that down for sure. I think it's 36. I think that was the most
Yeah.
points scored.
Daniel
No,
Jones.
Bills scored 41. I'm sorry, but
Okay. Right.
still, it was a very impressive showing. I was stunned. I really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. They blew Miami out of the
3.
water and they did not stop. I did hear that Miami had a players owner meeting. They're 0-1. They looked awful. They looked like the worst team in the league.
Yeah,
And it's just surprising, man, that they have just collapsed for just a couple years now, I think. But Yeah, I would say the Broncos would win that game pretty much going away. I thought Bo Nix played well. He wasn't
Ooh,
fantastic. Threw a couple picks,
disagree.
right?
Oh, I thought he
Didn't
played
he?
his worst game in
Yeah.
I thought he might have played I thought he might have been the worst quarterback in the NFL week one.
Okay.
I
He
really
threw a
do.
few picks. I know
Wilson
that.
Wilson probably was worse, but
I agree. Yes.
I think Bo Nix was one of the worst quarterbacks
Yeah.
week one. And if
But
Colby's
they did.
watching, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah. But they did win. I mean, I don't know what
Yeah.
the Broncos score was there, but
It
I know they won
was
pretty much going away, right? I mean, it was
no,
easy.
no. You might not have been watching that game with much attention. It was 20-12. I mean, playing against the Titans, they should have murdered them. That was
Yeah.
terrible. They
Yeah.
played
But
awful.
I
The
don't think it
defense
was,
played great. The defense
yeah.
played great, but the offense
Well,
was terrible.
they do have a great defense, but yeah, I didn't think Bo played fantastic at all.
No, he played
I was
awful. He
surprised.
played actually terrible.
Yeah.
And then I have the Monday night game, Buccaneers versus Texans. Kind of a boring week. You can tell by the games I'm choosing at the end.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay of note because we play them in a few weeks, and the
Right.
Texans really lackluster week one. So I
Yeah.
wonder what you see there. That's a team that a lot of
Yeah.
people kind of expect to be a Super Bowl contender,
Yeah.
and just really were not showing that week one.
No. Well, the Bucks, they won their game, but they were another one that the
Yeah,
other team was driving and was ready to score, win the game at the end
missed
there.
a field goal. Missed a field goal. Yeah,
Was that what it was? Okay. So yeah, but it
yeah.
just yeah, it was tough. Well, we were watching the Browns too, and they missed the field goal too, which was just hard.
That's
Really
brutal.
hard. But
You
yeah,
can't.
there are some pretty bad matchups. There's not any, well, the one division matchup,
Yeah,
two division Giants Cowboys. But again,
yeah.
it's
It's not.
early, so you never know. It could be
It's true.
upset waiting here because
Yeah,
somebody gets hot or still got that weird thing that can happen, fumble, interception, thing like that, kick return.
definitely.
So something to watch for.
Yeah.
Still, it's football, so we're back.
All righty. You got anything else to say about football before I jump into some other sports?
No.
All right. Let's go into the Phillies, 88-60. Swept the Mets in a 4-game series, which was great to see. The bats were insane. They were scoring at will. They
Yeah.
beat the Royals today 8-2, so another just kind of blowout victory. And the magic number down to 3, I believe, because the Mets lost as
They
well.
were losing. Yeah, they were
Let me
losing.
let me double check to make sure they did lose. Where are you at? Yes, they did lose 8-3 to the Rangers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
magic numbers down to 3. I mean, it's crazy, man. I texted you, God, it must have been 5 days ago, and I was like, "Hey, man, magic numbers at 12," and
Right.
here we are.
Yeah.
It's dropped down 9 games
Yeah.
just for in the last few days. It's
Right.
insane.
When once you beat a team in your division, that's two
Well,
games. That's
yeah,
two.
I mean,
That's eight for there, and then 10. Yeah, so it's just
yeah.
crazy that they've
Well,
got
and you're
that many.
sweet, and we swept the team who's second place. That's just
Right.
the
Yes.
best thing that could have happened.
Yeah,
Really.
it's good because it was hard. A couple weeks ago when they beat us in the 3 game set,
Well, bummer.
there was a lot of stuff on the internet that was kind of like the Phillies kind of have their upper hand right now.
Yeah. Union finally returning to action, 17-6-6, still first seed in the East. They play against Vancouver Saturday night at 7:30. Hopefully, it's a game that's showing on one of the, sometimes it's on Fox, sometimes it's
Right.
on, free on Apple TV. I
Yes,
wouldn't mind jumping into that if there's no fun
I
college
agree.
games tomorrow night.
I agree.
Penn State 2-0 right now, had a 34-0 win over Florida International. So you're just kind of sitting here waiting for a real game because tomorrow they play Villanova. So you're just kind of like, man, geez, like we're gonna just
Wow.
wait for a good game
Well,
finally. I
I'm
mean,
sure that are they playing at the link by any chance?
I'm not too sure. Probably right.
'Cause I believe they do if they're in Philly.
No, it's
Other,
it's at Penn State though. It's
okay,
their state
yeah,
college. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Because I know
University
Nova
Park.
would play in there. Temple does too.
All right, man. We got no time left. We got to say
All
goodbyes.
right, very good.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok if you like Philly Eagles Therapy. Do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comment down below your prediction for the game and email us your questions at PhillyEaglesTherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds!
Fly, Eagles fly.